Baba says that many children are waiting, that when the turmoil subsides, then my stage and my seva will improve. Are you waiting? That when all the jhamelas finish, then I'll enhance my stage, then I'll do seva. So Baba always says that, because Baba listens to our conversations that we have with Baba, and children keep telling Baba, when this one thing is sorted, when this one thing is taken care of, when this one situation changes, then just look at my stage and my purusharth and my seva. Yes, so Baba tells us that that's not going to happen. The turmoils will not finish. Yes, and Baba says, this is the world of turmoils. Yes, what do you call Kalyug? Kalyug is Jhamele ki duniya. So in this world, the Jhamelas cannot finish. If the Jhamelas finished, would Kalyug be Kalyug? So Baba says that the Jhamelas won't finish. And Baba says that this is the time to relish the company, to take the full benefit of the company of the Almighty, the ocean, my sweet Baba who has come from the soul world to recharge me. And if I am in this state where I'm waiting, yes, so somebody said, there was this one Mata, she had stopped coming to the class, and then many years back, I'm telling you, and I asked her, so why didn't you come to the class? So she said, it's winter and I'm old and I'm 70 and I feel very cold, so I can't step out of the house. So I would just resume after winter. But you know how many winters it has been? At least 8. And she never resumed. And after winter, she sent me a message that I have this ailment in the body. So Didi, I can't resume classes now. And then she said, but I'm reading the Murli. And then I said, okay, you take care, but try to come to class. But then again, she sent me a message 3 months later. She said, these days I'm not even able to read the Murli, because now you see there are so many people visiting me all day because I'm not well. So you see that this is how the Jhamelas only intensify. So never think that when this is over, that is over, or then I will pay attention to my stage, my purusharth. Yes, some people say when my retirement is, so I remember there was this one Mata, for 7 years she kept telling me that when I retire, then Didi, I'll do a lot of seva, I'll serve Baba. And by the time she retired, she fell into kusang. Yes, so she fell into the company of those who, those who just take you away from Baba. And then after she retired, she just stopped. So I said, you were telling me you will do double seva after retirement, and now you're retired and you're sitting at home. So she said, yes, Didi, I don't know but what happened, but maybe my part was this much only. She said it with her own words. So I was very surprised. I said, okay, this is how drama is. So you see that if you keep waiting for something to happen, then what are you doing? You are losing your Sangam Yugi second. Yes, second by second, you are losing your Sangam Yugi time. And do you know, in Sangam Yuga, we don't have extra time. We have just enough time. So whenever you are wasting any second in Sangam Yuga, whether you are wasting it by doing something or by not doing something. Yes, by doing something that Baba asks you not to do, or you are wasting it by not doing what Baba asks you to do, then that second wasted has a cost, and it costs you your status and fortune. And Baba says sometimes, we don't understand that these thoughts that come to us, that you see, I will do this, I will work on myself, I'll do Purusharth, I'll do Seva after this situation is solved, or after this thing finishes, or after this thing is over. If you create this thought, then what have you done? You have taken a whole chunk of Sangam Yuga and said, I'm going to waste it, and I'm going to waste it rightfully, and then I'm just going to do my Purusharth and Seva later. And we don't recognize it because we think, you see, the Jhamela is real, how can I? But Baba says, no. When from the time you recognize Baba to the time you leave the body, you have limited seconds, limited time. And in that time, you have to make good of every second, every shwas, every thought, if you want to claim your position in Satyuga. And if you are body conscious, because all this is body conscious, what is Jhamela? Jhamela is a expression of your body consciousness. Otherwise, it's a situation like millions of situations in the world. But when you attach I and mine to the situation, that all that's happening in the world is not my problem, but this is my problem. Yes, so when you say I and mine, then you make that Jhamela yours. Otherwise, it's a world of Jhamela, and everything is Jhamela here. So why do you say this is my Jhamela and it is their Jhamela? So, it's a world of Jhamela. These things will happen, they'll continue. So, when you become body conscious, when you attach I and mine, then it feels like, this thing is my roadblock, I can't cross it. So, Baba says, but if you create this kind of a, limitation in your mind or in your intellect, if you feed this kind of a programming, then what are you doing? You're compromising on your stage and status. And this is why Baba says, understand that this is a world of Jhamelas, and until the end, the intensity of Jhamelas will increase. It's not going to reduce. Is it going to reduce? No, it's only going to increase. And second thing Baba says is that consider these Jhamelas like a mountain. The mountain will not move. But what you can do is, you can take full benefit of confluence age. You can stay in the company of Baba. You can remember Baba. You can do your Purusharth. You can do your Seva by withdrawing your attention, withdrawing your man and buddhi from the mountain. Yes, so what do? The Jhamela is there, but just withdraw your attention from all of it and cherish the company of the sweet Father who has come, and take out time and thought for seva, for Purusharth despite everything. And I have, from my own experience, I have understood that if you keep doing this, if you never say that my situation is such that I can't do Purusharth and can't do seva, and you are always available, always keeping your timetable according to Srimad despite everything, and when you do it despite everything, what happens? There is a lot of struggle inside, because your morality, yes, and your old belief systems, they keep fighting with you. So let me give you a very simple example. So, many times people say that I work in an office or I do a job, so I'm not able to do Purusharth, I'm not able to do seva, or I take care of the household along with the office, so I'm not able to do Purusharth. But when I was in that situation, when I was taking care of the household and going to office, at that time I never created this thought that I can't do Purusharth and seva with this, because I always thought Baba knows better than me, and if he's saying you can do this, so definitely I can do this. That's why he's saying it to me. Otherwise, why would he say something impossible to me? So I started doing everything with that. And then what happens is, you see, there are many kinds of things. Like earlier I used to think that my personal life and my professional life should be separate. But then I combined it. I went to office with the white dress and I went to office and I meditated there, I did seva there. So there was a lot of clash in me in the beginning, because the morality that you have, you've accumulated for so long, it starts fighting with the truth that Baba is telling you. And then there was one time when somebody told me that this is very unprofessional, that you come to office and then you take out time from between and you meditate and you do seva also. So I told them, can you guarantee that all the 8 hours that you sit in the office, you're only thinking about office? You're not. So you're also taking out time and betraying the office, and you're also taking out thought and betraying the office. But I'm doing it very purposefully, and whatever I'm doing is giving me some result. Whatever you are doing is just waste of time and thought. So you see, there's a lot of inner, also the morality inside you, because it's not just other people telling that to you, but you also have lived in that morality for very long. And then you see, when you're taking care of a household, so people who have children, they struggle with this, that all my thought and time is for my children. But Baba says that even to nurture that soul, you need your own spiritual power. And when you take out time and thought from them and keep company with Baba, then you will be able to take care of them better, not that you will be neglecting them. So there is this whole concept of neglect, abandon, unprofessional, professional. So there are so many things which fight with you. And Baba says that when you come on this path, then you must understand that in Sangam Yuga, your first dharma, so you see, you took care of people, places and things for 84 births. But this is the only time, the only time which you get to nurture and recharge yourself. Shiv Baba, once he goes, yes, he'll come 5,000 years later. So once this time is over, 5,000 years later this time will come. So you have every right to take out your time, thought, energy, resources from the Jhamela and enjoy the Milan Mela and do the Purusharth that Baba is telling you, do the Seva that Baba is telling you, and that is going to create your fortune. So when you understand that it is completely fine and it is the right thing to do, and then you gather the strength from Baba to do it, then what happens is you start building, you start accumulating yoga power, you start accumulating spiritual strength. And then you see, because I took that decision early on, what happened is slowly, gradually, my punya ka khata increased. And because of that, there is still Jhamela, but that Jhamela is not able to attack my Purusharth and Seva. So, in the world of Jhamela, the Jhamela will not change. But what kind of Jhamela is it? Is it the Jhamela that is able to disturb your Purusharth and Seva? Or are you stronger than the Jhamela and you are able to do your Purusharth and Seva anyway? So you see, if you keep doing your Purusharth and Seva despite everything, then it will become increasingly easier to do your Purusharth and Seva despite everything. So the despite everything will always remain, but doing Purusharth, doing Seva will become increasingly easier, because your inner strength is increasing. So even though people will think that earlier situations were more or less favorable for you, now there are bigger problems, but that's what they think. But because you have done the Purusharth, you have created the foundation, so the problems are bigger, but you have risen bigger than the problem. You are bigger than the problem. So then whatever comes your way, maybe technically speaking, people will say, it's a very big thing that this happened to you, but then that it happened, but it didn't happen to me, and I am much stronger than this. So this is how, when you don't lose any second and you build your punya ka khata every second, then that punya ka khata gives you the power to not go into pap when situations are mounting and problems are rising. So this is the thing. And I think on the spiritual journey, the Jhamelas, when the Jhamelas are bigger and bigger, and still you are able to go on, that's the sign that you're becoming a Maharathi. Yes, so I don't think the sign of a Maharathi is the problems stop. If the problems stop, then of course you have had some agreement with Maya. So do you know, when you have a coalition with Maya, then the problems stop. Because so I remember there was this one Mata, and she told me that earlier my husband used to trouble me a lot and not allow me to come to the center and do any seva, but now he doesn't say anything. So I said, but he doesn't come to the center and he doesn't have any respect for Gyan and Baba still. So what compromise have you made? Because of which he is now willing to let you go. So she just put her head down and she didn't say anything. And you see, this is how we make compromises with Maya. But if you are really on the path of purity and spirituality, the Jhamelas don't subside, they only increase. But the sign of a good spiritual practitioner is when the problems are getting bigger, but you are ahead of the problems. And however big the problem is, you always feel that I am bigger than this and I am with Baba and I am absolutely calm and peaceful and I am capable of responding accurately to this. So one method is, despite the Jhamela, remove your attention from the Jhamela and just focus on your Purusharth and Seva. Second method is what I told you: after accumulating energy, after accumulating spiritual power, when you are in the flying stage, then the Jhamela is there, but you are higher than the Jhamela. So the mountain is there, but you have risen above the mountain. So the mountain doesn't matter to you. But you cannot reach the second stage without following the first. So you have to first withdraw your attention despite the Jhamela and do your Purusharth. And only then will you rise above the Jhamela. So this is what Baba tells us today. And then Baba tells us that in bhakti there are many practices, wearing a locket, going to tirth. So they go on pilgrimages, they chant, they just, they keep a picture at home and then they also go to the temple. And then, bhakti also, many people are doing a lot in bhakti. Yes, so I remember there was this one brother I met, and he has given up he has taken sannyas, and he is living the life of an ascetic, and he is living in a small hut and sleeping on the floor and eating very less food. Mostly he goes fasting. And so I was just talking to him and I asked him, why are you doing all this? So he said, because I have love for God. So I said, but do you even know whether God wants you to do all this? So he said, but that's what other people are saying. That's what my guru says, that this is what you need to do to get closer to God. So I said, I don't know, but God doesn't want you to do all this. So he said, but how do you know what God wants you to do? So I said, because God speaks to us. So he said, and God doesn't want you to torture yourself or do all this stuff. So I said, no, he doesn't want that from us. So he said, then what does God want? So I said, God wants you to, first thing, build the power of awareness. So Baba says, I give you the knowledge that you are a soul. I give you the knowledge that you are the deity soul. I give you the knowledge that you are the soul who every cycle becomes the right hand of Shiv Baba and removes all the souls from this world of sorrow and takes them to happiness. So do you understand that Baba gives us the Swadershan Chakra? Baba tells us that you are a soul, but you are not just a soul. So you see, Baba says that you are a soul, your home is the soul world, your father is Shiv Baba. Good enough, that applies to every soul. But for those children who are listening to the Murli every day, who are we? We are souls who live very close to Baba in the soul world. We are souls who rule the world in the deity kingdom. We are souls who serve every Bhagat soul with our drishti in Bhakti Marg. We are souls who become the right hand of Baba in Sangam Yug, and we are the souls who do the work, who carry on the task of world transformation on behalf of Baba. And then we are the souls who become angels and guide everybody to liberation and liberation in life. So Baba reminds us this. So we had forgotten who we are. Baba reminds us, but then Baba says that you have to really churn deeply about on the fact of who you are, because if you don't churn deeply on this, then you don't really get in touch with the power that is latent inside you. So we heard that story in Bhakti that Hanuman had forgotten who he is, and then he was reminded, and then he did what he could, but until he was reminded he couldn't do anything. So Baba says that you are not the one who needs help, you are the world helpers. But how do we recognize that? When Baba tells us these things, when Baba reminds us of our 5 forms, then you have to really sit and churn over it for that samarthi, for that capacity that is latent inside you to emerge and you to carry on that task of being the right hand of Baba, which you do every cycle. So the first thing that Baba tells us to spend our time and energy on is building awareness, because the awareness of who we are and the awareness of our powers is lost. And the more we think about our spiritual powers, our powers and virtues as a deity, and the powers and virtues of a Brahmin, the more we churn on them, the more they emerge. So this is the first thing that Baba asks us to do. So Baba removes us from the practices of bhakti, and Baba says there's no need to do all that you did in bhakti, but here you have to do something else. And the first thing you have to do is build the power of awareness. And Baba says, don't waste your time. Keep churning on the truth that you are a soul, that actually you have knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss and power in you. Churn on the fact that you are the child of the ocean of powers and virtues. Churn on the fact that your Adi, Anadi, Madhya, Ant, Swarup is so elevated. So Baba tells us this first direction Baba gives us to churn on knowledge. And you see, sometimes we think that Baba has not asked us to do any bhakti. I remember there was this one sister, and she completed the course, and some days later it was Shraddh. It was Shraddh ka time. So she came and she asked me, is it wrong for us to buy things in Shraddh and buy new stuff in Shraddh and do this or do that in Shraddh? So I said, why are you asking me a wrong question? So she said, I didn't understand. So I said, you are asking me whether it is okay to not do what bhakti taught you, but you're not asking me what you should do in Shraddh. Yes, so sometimes we are only learning. When you have an escapist mentality, what do? Baba has asked, there is no need to do this, there is no need to do that. Okay, you stop doing what there is no need to do. But then what has Baba asked you to do? What has Baba told you that this is needed to do? Yes, so I remember there was this one Kanya, and she said, I want to leave the job and get surrendered at the center. So I said, that's okay. So She said, because Baba says, Naukri ki tokri nahi uthani. So I said, that's okay, but what did Baba tell you to do? Baba said, you give your life to Baba. Do you understand? Haddi haddi swaha. So you give every bone, every, what do you say? You give every katra of your energy to Baba. Are you willing to do that? From 3:30 in the morning to 11 in the evening, are you willing to surrender everything to Baba and do everything as Baba says? Or will you say, I got tired, I can't do this, I can't do that, because you are very happy that Baba told you not to do the job. But what did Baba tell you to do? So you see, so Baba says that so you see, when people say what's wrong with bhakti, there's nothing wrong with bhakti. If you're doing nothing, go take a pilgrimage, go to the Himalayas, what's wrong with that? But in Sangam Yoga, your time, energy, thought, money is valuable. And Baba wants you to use it in creating Sangam Yogi fortune. That's why he tells you don't do all of that. Because that also takes time, thought, energy, money. So this is why Baba says you don't need to do that, do this. But if you don't neither do this nor that's not a good idea. So Baba says that what you need to do is churn on knowledge, day in and day out, just churn on knowledge. Remember Baba, practice purity, do seva. And Baba says, this is what I'm asking you to do. And this is Gyan Marg. If you don't churn on knowledge, if you don't accumulate the power of remembrance, if you don't follow my timetable, if you don't practice purity, then how will you have the power of yoga, power of purity, yes, power of Srimat? So when you don't have all of those powers, how will you become the one who rules the world? So Baba is not asking us to just not do something, but Baba is asking us to do something else. And we have to pay attention to that. And when you do what Baba says, then you will build the strength, the understanding and the capacity to refrain from what Baba says is unnecessary and is making you fall. Okay? Om Shanti.